Good morning. Welcome back to class today. We are changing gears away from division. You all worked on division so hard for so long and you did amazing. Now we're going to start working on geometry. So, at home, I need you all to have your whiteboards out. We're going to practice drawing some simple shapes and going over terminology. So the first thing, and I do want everyone to write this down just to practice writing it so you know what the word looks like. Geometry. Yep, I want everyone to just practice writing that word on your whiteboard. Sometimes just writing a word down helps you remember it, how to recognize it, and maybe how to say it. Geometry. So geometry is the study of lines and shapes and angles and triangles and quadrilaterals. It's a lot of fun, okay? It is a lot of fun. You've started learning some of this in 2nd and 3rd grade, and this year we take it on further, okay? So geometry. The main things we're going to start with today, and as I write up here, I want you to write on your whiteboards just to practice. Now, this is the hardest part of the entire day. You guys ready to learn what a point is? All right. Somewhere on your paper, or well, you're on your whiteboards, our first term is a point. And that is what we will call this thing I'm about to teach you about. It is not a dot. It is a point. Are you guys ready to see how to draw a point? I know. I told you it was hard in advance. I didn't.
That's a dot, though.
It is a dot, but we are not going to call that a dot. We are calling it a point. Okay, that is its geometric term. Can anyone think of a time in math where you might have a point? What are we talking about, a point? Hayden?
Like in geometry, like you have a point somewhere.
Like on a line there could be a point?
Yeah.
Good. Madeline?
5.4.
Okay, so you're thinking like a decimal point.
And
It's the same symbol, but they mean different things. Noah?
Or like when you're doing a problem and you need a shape to put it, you put a point.
Okay. All right, so a point, that's the first thing. Now we can label points because if I have, let's say I had 7 points on a line in a picture. Can I just keep saying, look at that point, look at that point? Would anyone know which point to look at?
No.
So we give it a name. And the way you name a point is with a letter. So you can name a point any letter you want. So I'm going to go with H for hair.
I have a lot of dots.
So that is point H.
I have a lot of points.
All right, listen. Now here's what a point is. A specific location in space. You don't have to write that down, just think about it.
Does it not mean the star or something?
Don't interrupt. So, if I put a dot right there, okay, that's a point. Is that one spot in space?
Yeah.
I know we don't think about dots that way, but that's really what it is, right? This spot right there is one specific tiny place in space, right? That's a point. All right, moving on to the next thing. This is going to get a little harder as we go. The next thing we're learning is a line. Go ahead, you can erase if you need to and write line. I know lines are also really hard to draw. We've not had a lot of practice with this in the past, but I'm going to go ahead and write the definition first. Now I want you to think about it. A line extends, that means goes on, forever in both directions.
So if we had a wire.
Well, hold on. All right, Hayden?
So if we had a wire, it would go on for infinity.
All right. So yeah, let's think about a wire. Let's say I have a wire shooting out of my right fingertip this way. It goes on forever, never stops. I would also have to have the same wire shooting out of this hand going on forever. A line, I know it's hard to comprehend. There is no end to it, okay? In a minute, we're going to talk about lines that do have endpoints. But if you call something a line in math, it means it goes on forever. There is no stopping, okay? This is how you draw a line. That part's straightforward. I know we can do that. But when you're talking about a line in math, you have to put arrows on both ends.
Oh, circles.
Okay, why do you guys think we need arrows on both ends to describe a line? Josiah?
So it shows it goes on forever.
Yeah, that's what shows us it goes forever. So practice drawing a line with the arrows because you're going to be doing a lot of this in the next couple weeks. All right, now this is where we get to put some points on the line because lines like to have names too. You can't just say, look at that line over there.
I have first grade children that have their $5, first grade, to the office area.
Why do we need the $5?
Okay, so on a line, you can't just call it a line because in your problems, you're going to have a lot of lines. So let's name our line, okay? In order to name a line, we have to put points on it. So go ahead, put 2 points on your line. Remember, we don't call these dots, they're points. And let's call this point A, and we can call this one point B. And now I'll teach you how to name a line. When you want to give your line a name, you call it AB or BA. You just have to keep your points in order. And we only have 2, so AB is one way I can name it, or BA. Now you might wonder, how do I know that these letters are lines? You will know that because you put a fancy hat on the top. Check out its hat. You draw a little line with the arrows on it. Pretty cool. Okay? So when you want to name a line that goes forever in both directions, lines always have points on them when you do geometry. You just pick 2 points. You can do either order you want, and then put its hat on the top that shows it goes forever and ever, so it's a line. Any questions so far? All right, now you ready for a line segment? That's the next one. If you need to erase a bit, you may. Line segment. Please write this with me. Line segment. Segment means part of a line. So what do you guys think this might mean? Noah?
Like, it's like a line, but it's like you do something different with it.
Yes, you're right. It doesn't go on forever. It's a segment. That means it's only part of a line. So a line segment, let me see the definition I want. Part of a line with a beginning and an end. Write that first.
We have to write this?
Well, you don't have to write it, but I want you to think about it or try to start drawing it. Part of a line with a beginning and an end. Does anyone have a guess how I can draw a line segment? Because we can't have it going on and on forever. Noah?
You draw a line and you put like 2 dots at the end of it.
What do we call those things?
Points.
Points. Excellent job, Noah. Draw your line, but don't put arrows. Okay, this is only part of a line. It doesn't go forever. So it has a beginning and an end made out of points. You can name your points whatever you want. I'm going to call these C and D. You want to see how to name a line segment? What type of hat it wears?
Just a line.
It is just a line. So this could be CD or DC. And you just put a line. You don't have to put the dots on the ends, okay? It's just a straight flat line. Okay, so to review real quick, a point, you name a point just with any letter. A line that goes forever in both ways, you name it with 2 letters that are on the line. And your hat has to have the arrows. Okay, what hat does your line segment wear? Noah's the only one that's listening. Angie?
Just a line.
Just a line, okay? All right, we only have a couple more things to do, but these are the basics, all right? So now I want you to erase your board because this part at the bottom is a little different. Now we're going to talk about types of lines. So I'm going to do one of these guys.
Second grade students with their $5, second grade students with their $5 to the office area.
Okay, now I just want you to write the names of the 3 types of lines and practice drawing them, okay? So we will have 3 types. I'm going to split my paper into 3s. All right, this first type over here that we're going to talk about are parallel lines. Please write this on your whiteboard to practice. Now the key to parallel lines are these two L's right here together. Do those L's look like railroad tracks that would never cross each other?
Yes.
Yeah. Parallel lines are lines that never cross each other. So we can write under here, lines that never cross and stay the same distance apart. And I will show you a drawing in a minute. Oops. All right, friends at home, keep writing these things down. You all don't need to write all of this because you have some of that in your glue-in. All right, you ready to draw it? All right, here it is. All you need to picture are railroad tracks, okay? And the thing I want you to think about, the outside rails, they have to stay the same width apart. What would happen if the railroad tracks started to do this when a train was driving down it? Can the tracks shape like this? No, it would crash the train, right? They have to stay this far apart because that's how the train rides on the rails. So parallel lines, I'm going to draw 3 different examples. You guys see how they never would cross? They're the same distance apart like railroad tracks. So any lines like that are parallel. They never cross. So I really do think about railroad tracks every time I hear parallel lines because that's what teachers always say. But there are so many examples. We're actually going to look around the room for parallel lines in a minute. All right, the next type of line you need to know. So if you need to erase, this type of line is perpendicular. So please write it with me. Perpendicular. It is. Write it down once. I'm not going to make you write it all the time. Perpendicular lines form, we can say cross and form a right angle. Okay. Does anyone remember what a right angle is from 3rd grade? Chloe? Well, a right angle, basically the way my teachers all taught me, any piece of paper, the corners make right angles, okay? So a right angle is when you have this intersection.
Could I have 3rd grade, please?
This is 90 degrees or a right angle. We're going to learn a lot more about that as we go. This is our first day of geometry.
This is
But a right angle, it makes like a plus sign, okay? So lines that meet to make a plus sign are perpendicular. So I will draw a few examples of that down here. You could have something like this. I'll make these actual lines. Okay, you see how they meet in the middle and make a plus sign? Well, these are 4 right angles, and you can mark a right angle with that little box. It's kind of fun. Another way you can see perpendicular lines sometimes looks like a T. Even though this line doesn't go all the way through it, I still have my right angles here, don't I? So perpendicular lines, for now I just want you to remember that they make those plus sign right angles. And we'll learn more about what those are later. So parallel with the double L, railroad tracks never cross. Perpendicular lines always cross and make that perfect plus sign angle, okay? A 90-degree right angle. We only have one more type of lines, guys. Awesome job. 3rd type, intersecting lines. Please write this word down once.
Could I have 4th grade, please? 4th grade. If they have their $5, they need to bring it down with them. Thank you.
All right, intersecting lines are lines that cross each other. So it's very similar to perpendicular, but they don't have to make that plus sign. It could be more like this. Okay, you see how those lines cross? But I could not take a piece of paper and stick it in this corner and match up. It's not the same. This one, yes. This, no, those are not right angles. So intersecting lines, lines that cross in any way, they could even be so close together that it's hard to even tell they're crossing. Okay? So you can draw a couple different types of intersecting lines, but they are lines that cross. All right, here's a question to see who understands. If I have an intersecting pair of lines, can they also be parallel? Raise your hand. I need everyone's brain on. If I have intersecting lines, could they also be parallel?
Yeah.
Someone raise your hand.
No.
Angie?
No.
No, you're right. Why not?
I'm thinking as in like a train, and a train could like crash and like maybe if it's on a bridge.
Yeah, train tracks have to stay the same distance apart. If my lines are crossing, isn't that meaning my lines aren't staying apart? Yeah, so if you have perpendicular intersecting lines, they cannot be parallel. Parallel is different. They're like railroad track lines. All right, before we go on, I've got some interesting pictures. I just want you to tell me what type of lines you think these things are. All right, let's see. I'm going to erase this. You're going to need a bunch of magnets. All right, when I put the picture up, no blurts. I want you to just think about what type of lines could be shown. And those of you at home, I hope you can see. This one's really dark. The others you should see better. Josiah, what type of lines do you see? Parallel, where at?
Those two lines from the Twin Tower Monument.
Yep, so if you guys don't remember, this is the Twin Tower Monument we looked at, and those are the lines. They shoot up into the night sky where the towers used to be. Very good. Those are parallel lines. They can't cross.
Wait, as far as the Twin Towers.
All right, here's our next picture. What type of lines do you see? Cadence? Parallel. You're right. How'd you know that?
They didn't cross.
Right, they don't cross. They stay the same distance apart, roughly, right?
Are those just pictures?
Yep, these are little files that I made. Actually, I made these when I was in college.
Oh, wow.
All right. You might see different things in this picture. What's one thing you see? What one type of line? Zoe?
Parallel?
Parallel. All the book spines, right? They're all parallel. What else do you see, Hayden? Intersecting. You're right. Right here, are these books going to intersect and cross? They sure are. And I even see parallel lines going down this way on the books. Did anyone see those?
Yeah. Some of them will cross. There's crosses on
Mm-hmm. So some of the books have some intersecting lines. All right. Let's see. This is falling down. Stop that. Let's check out this one.
I'd like to go there.
I would love to go there. I'm sure we all would. What types of lines do you notice in that picture? Cadence?
Parallel.
Parallel, you're right. And lots of layers, right? We've got the sand and the foamy part of the beach and the wave, the horizon. Even the clouds kind of look flat, right? Very good. Okay. Someone else? What about this? Angie?
Parallel.
Parallel. So if you are driving down the road, that's a great example of parallel lines. Those lines in the middle, they're never going to just start crossing each other, right? That'd be crazy. They stay the same distance apart.
It looks like when you're going really fast, it looks like they're going.
All right, this next one's a little different. This picture. Might be more than one thing. Think about it carefully. Noah?
5th grade students that want to get their picture taken with cash or with Doc the Elf, $5. Office now.
Oh. Perpendicular lines.
Perpendicular. Good. How'd you know that, Noah?
Because I looked at those and you can make a square in between the lines.
You could make that perfect plus sign, right? With the 90-degree angles, which we're going to learn more about. Is this also intersecting?
Yeah.
Yeah, intersecting doesn't have to be any way or the other. It just has to cross. All right, nice job. All right, let's see what else we've got. Ooh, this is kind of a neat one. We've talked about this bridge quite a bit this year.
The California
The Golden Gate Bridge.
is in California.
All right, you might notice some different things. We'll see. All right, Angie, what do you notice?
Parallel lines.
Parallel lines. Where do you see the parallel lines? These small things.
More like
These
those.
big columns.
Yeah, and the ones hanging off of it.
Okay, yeah, these are all parallel. Are some of these lines intersecting? Like this line is intersecting with all of these lines, right? So that picture almost has all the types.
Well, not really, because it's behind. Not really.
All right, let's check out. Oh,
A piano.
I know Emma does play the piano.
And
All right, what types of lines do you notice? Hayden?
parallel.
Parallel lines, very good. Let's see if I have any more.
That was parallel. They are ghosts.
I don't think I have any more that aren't parallel.
I don't think your magnets are working that well for the picture.
Yeah, they're a little heavy. Here's the last one, which I know we know is parallel, but do you see it in the water and up in the
It's
sculptures?
reflecting off the water.
So we see parallel, perpendicular, intersecting lines everywhere all day long. We just didn't know what they were called. So before we move on, quietly gaze about the classroom. I want everyone to try to find one pair of parallel lines, any example, and one perpendicular pair of lines. Okay? I'll give you about 10 seconds head start, and then I'll ask you to say what you've seen. Those of you at home, look around your house. Do the same thing. Try to find an example of parallel lines, and then try to find an example of perpendicular lines.
Can you make like one?
We're going to do other stuff later. So have a seat. Angie, what did you see?
Right next to the door where you have the snowflakes.
Ah, okay. What type of lines do you see?
Parallel.
Parallel, the sides of the window frame? Perfect. Hayden, what do you see?
To the door handles, like that.
Oh, on the cabinets?
Yeah.
Are they parallel? Very good. Madeline, what do you see?
The bookshelf is.
The bookshelf, lots of parallel. And I also see another type of line over there.
Oh,
Emma, what do you see?
the lines in between the doors.
Good. Yeah, all our cabinet doors make parallel lines. Noah?
I see perpendicular and intersecting over them. The bookshelves has them.
Yeah, the bookshelves have those cross sections that make the perpendicular plus sign. Nice job. Cadence?
The lines, the trees on the thing.
Oh, yep, our bulletin board here, all these trees. What type of lines are those?
Parallel.
Parallel. Zoe?
The poster.
Ah, the lines about the writing process. What type of lines are those? Parallel. Good. Josiah?
I see perpendicular, intersecting lines on the walls.
Good. On the walls in between these bricks? So those are intersecting and perpendicular, right? I don't know if you friends at home can see them. I'll point it up a little bit. But all these intersections make right angles. So these are all intersecting and perpendicular. All right. Thank you so much for joining. We will continue to work on geometry more tomorrow. Have a great day.